Great unemployment numbers in. 243,000 jobs have been created in January. They are non-farm jobs. I'm always amused by that. Why that weird distinction? I know it's an old school distinction, but when you talk about all private sector jobs, 257,000 jobs have been created. Now, of course, it could be better if we actually were spending money during this recession, or I know we're technically out of the recession, but during these very tough economic times, because public sector jobs, 14,000 lost, okay? So it'd be nice if we weren't firing people from the public sector in these tough economic times. But of course, that's part of the Republican strategy on all this. And unemployment is down from 8.5% to 8.3%, which is pretty close to what President Obama said it would be. He said he'd bring it down to 8%. Now, it has taken a while, but this is definitely good news. Now, do I think the fundamentals of the economy are fixed? I got to level with you. I don't think they are. I think we've done a Band-Aid, but, you know, and in fact, I'm pleasantly surprised to see how well the Band-Aid is working. Maybe it's not a Band-Aid, maybe it's a bandage, right? And we've done a pretty decent job of stopping the bleeding. I don't know how it's going to play out the rest of the year, but you got to take the good numbers and be happy about it, and I am, and give credit where credit is due. Now, that's if you're a reasonable person. If you're a Republican, that's not what you're going to do at all. So all of the Republican reactions to what is obviously good news is awesome. Let's start with Representative Jeb Hanserly.
So another week, another indication of failed presidential policies. Another week, more Republican jobs bills passed in the House.
But wait a minute, I don't understand. This is a good story. How is it failed policies? Because the Republicans are like, facts. We don't need no stinking facts. Oh, great jobs numbers? Fantastic. What a failure Obama is. Well, did you notice, though, we passed some jobs bills. Which jobs bills did you pass? They panicked last week. There was a story written in the press about it, about how they realized, oops, we didn't do anything about jobs. That might look pretty bad. So then they pretended that their oil and gas friendly bills like Keystone Project are their massive jobs bills that might create 5,000 jobs at maximum, right? And that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because their donors are paying them to do it. Now they want to take credit? What? For the upturn, you're going to take credit for a bill that you didn't even pass, that just made it through the House as not legislation last week? Oh, what kind of a sad joke are you people? Well, let's find out more.
The jobs numbers today are certainly welcome news. I think all of us want to see more Americans get back to work. But as my colleagues have laid out, we could do a lot better. The president this week has indicated that perhaps he may now join us in focusing on the backbone of the American economy, which are the American small businesses.
I love that, too. He's like, okay, fine, the numbers are all right. But they could be a lot better if the president would just listen to us. And I'm glad he's finally implementing some of our policies on small business. And what is that, Eric? Which one are you talking about? I don't know. I want to take some sort of credit for the good numbers and blame him for being a failure. Well, you're not alone. That was, of course, Eric Cantor, the second leading Republican in the House. Here's the Speaker of the House.
The American people have seen the same story now for 36 straight months. While there are flickers of hope in our recovery, and certainly they're welcome. But the American people were promised by the president that unemployment would not exceed 8%. And here we are 36 straight months of unemployment over 8%.
In other words, not good enough, not good enough. Oh, if we were in charge, things would be so much better. But here's the problem, John. You guys were in charge when the collapse happened, when the giant recession hit us and we lost millions of jobs. You know who was in charge? You were. It was President Bush and his policies. 8 years of Republican rule. Oh, let's cut taxes on the rich. It'll create more jobs. No, it didn't. It cost us jobs. So you put us back in charge and we'll screw it up again? That's your best plan going forward? You guys are a sad embarrassment. He continues.
Well, no, what I'm suggesting to you today is that we can do better. The American people are still asking a question: where are the jobs? And while the unemployment rate is down slightly, and a few more Americans are at work, we still have millions of Americans that are looking for work. And if the president would work with us, there are millions more Americans who could be at work.
How do you like that, liberal media? John, why don't you take credit for the good job numbers? Why, that's a terrific idea, Mr. Liberal media. And you know what? Don't get us wrong. No, we're blaming the president for everything. But at the same time, we'd like to take credit for any good news. Based on what? I don't know. We're going to do it anyway.